Hey, what's up guys? This is Clint Losh and coming back to you with another video for my strategy blog. And in this particular video what I'm going to be talking about is post-flop play when you hit a draw on the turn and whether you should double barrel or check it back. And to illustrate one of those particular situations, there's a hand here posted by actually one of our players that's in our Skype group, and he posted it on 2+2. And just to lay out the situation here, it's a $35 sit and go. I believe this on full tilt and not poker stars because you'll see a different blind level than most of you may be used to at the 30-60 level. And we got 5 players left. I believe this is a 6 max game, and our hero here still has a starting stack. So early game still 30-60. Our hero's in the cutoff. He's got King 7 suited. And he opens up from the cutoff and raises to 120 and gets called by a player in the big blind, and we're told that this player was a good winning regular. So we get to the flop. King 7 suited, don't hit anything on a 4-6-10 board. Decides to make a c-bet, pretty standard. His c-bet gets called, and now this is where things get tricky. So the turn brings a 9 of spades. So what does the 9 of spades mean? The 9 of spades means our hero now has picked up a flush draw and a gut shot straight draw. So what do you do when you pick up that draw on the turn now? And that was the main discussion. Do you double barrel? Do you potentially even triple barrel if your turn bet gets called? Or do you check it back? Now, in these situations, what I typically do is I'm going to check it back. This is my standard line. Now, we said in the post people were talking about how the player's a winning player and they were trying to give him a range, and that's fine. It can be difficult to obviously give a player a range unless you know specifically who that player is, their tendencies, and unless you start understanding tendencies of a player, understand how he plays post-flop. I don't necessarily like to get into triple barrel discussions. I think you need to know more information about your opponent before you do that. Whether to double barrel or check, though, that's a good discussion to have kind of regardless of the opponent. So, in general, though, in a situation where I make a c-bet, I'm on a board that I missed, and the turn brings me a draw, like in this situation where we got a flush draw, gut shot, straight draw, where essentially I can hit outs now on the river, especially if we're behind. I like to check back and give myself that free card because there's really nothing worse than if you made a turn bet here and you get check raised and you have to fold your hand when you actually do have a half decent amount of outs. So to potentially avoid that situation, and this is typically what I do 8 or 9 times out of 10 when I'm faced with something like this, is I check it back, I give myself that free card, and take it from there. If I didn't hit a draw, that 9 of spades was just a 9 of clubs where you just have a gut shot, which doesn't mean a whole lot, then we can definitely have the discussion about whether to double barrel or not, because you're not really checking back to hit any potential outs. You're looking to win the hand, and if you think your opponent might be on a marginal hand, then double barreling might be perfectly fine. So in a situation like this where you don't hit anything on the flop and you c-bet and you get called, if you pick up a draw on the turn that has 8, 9, 10 plus outs, I typically go ahead and check it back. If I don't hit a draw on the turn, then whether I check back or I double barrel depends a little bit on the turn card, if it's a good card to represent, and my opponent, obviously. But again, that's my standard line. So in this situation, I would certainly be checking back, giving myself that free card. So hopefully that little strategy tip was helpful for you. If you find yourself in these post-flop situations often, be sure to check out more from my strategy blog here at crushthedonks.com. See you in the next video, guys.